It's Monday, February 8th, and the market is up. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Money and Politics. And I have to caution you that if you're new to investing, you might think that the markets go up every day. They do not, but they certainly have been going up consistently lately. And we have had one of the best months in my long history of investing, and I hope you've been having a great month as well. I'm going to go over some of the stocks that we're following and bring up one or two ones that you may not have been paying attention to. But first, let's go over the fundamentals that I'm not a professional advisor or registered stockbroker, and you have to make your investment decisions yourself and take the risk yourself. And you know what? When you're right and you make the money, you get to keep that too. You don't share it with me. So that said, let's get right to it. Today, again, we had HUMBL. I think it's safe to say that right now on Money and Politics, this is the number one stock people want to hear about. HUMBL up again today, 23.9%. And it had a great outing. And I say why, because not only did it jump from Friday's close of $1.38, initially went up to, I thought we might break $2 there for a second, but it went to, closed at $1.71. But what I think is impressive here, as we look at this chart, is the fact that it's flat. And it didn't bounce all around. It didn't go way up and then go way down on panic selling. The stock firmed up. It had a bit of a variance, but not really a whole lot. And as we look at it, I mean, the low here in the middle of the day was about $1.60, $1.63 or so. And when you consider that we were opening up this week after a tremendous week last week, and let's go back to look at the gains that we had in the last 5 trading days, for it to come up today and then have this plateau up here, I think is impressive, because it wouldn't have surprised me if we would have really fallen off sharply, but that was not the case. And so let's take a look at forwardly, and the FORW, and it was up 42.14% today. It closed at $1.13, also an impressive gain, and held its own. Folks, you want to say, well, where's it going? Again, I always say, I don't know. I would have thought it would have sold off. We will have a sell-off. But as the word is getting out of these stocks, and HUMBL and forwardly, there's obviously a lot of money coming into these, and that's supporting the price. Now, as we get a little higher, every time we get a little higher, I know it's more and more tempting to sell, and you got to make that decision. What works for you? I'm not going to tell you what to do on that. I'll make my decision. I know when I look at the money, how my portfolio has gone up over just the last month, it is frankly incredible, and it's very tempting, I know, to pull the trigger and take some off the table. Again, that's your decision. I'm looking at the long run. And by the way, someone brought to me, you may have seen this or you may see it, someone wrote an article on Seeking Alpha, which is a financial website if you're not familiar with it, knocking down, basically it was a hit piece on HUMBL. And it seemed to me from the article, the way it was described to me, and I had someone reading it to me, that the author didn't really know much of what he was talking about. And maybe he was a short seller, maybe he was just misguided. I don't know. But if it comes up, it seems to me that the guy was just off base with his comments. One of the stocks that I have not talked about, and I have said to you just recently in a video, that I worry about you if you're new to investing, thinking that penny stocks are the way to go and to make a fortune. So having said that, I might be about to say something that's going to cause you to maybe even get that kind of an idea even more. But I had a caller ask me about INND, and my son brought this up to me the other day, and it was such a, I did what I tell other people not to do. It was such a ridiculously low price, and he said something, words to the effect that they're going to be selling their hearing aids in Walmarts across the country. Now that's kind of old news as I looked it up, but I kind of just said, you know, as cheap as it is, I went out and bought 20,000 shares. Let's take a look at this stock so you have the price. INND. And the thing is, as you can see, that was up virtually 130% today. You can see the growth it's had. Am I encouraging you to do this? No, I'm not encouraging you to do this. I will tell you, though, that if you do take a flyer on something like this, and it's not to say I'm always right, but here's how I played this. The other day, for $168, I was able to buy 20,000 shares. It went up from the moment I bought it. And when I got up to where I think I had about $250 gain on a $168 investment, I sold 8,000 shares. So I got all of my money out and had about an $8 profit. So the 12,000 shares I had left, and you see the gain we had here today, I'm up about $600. So, you know, that's just a gift. Now, because that's house money, those 12,000 shares, that's all profit. So I'm going to let that run. But when I made that much money in the short run, I went ahead and pulled my initial principal out. And as I say, there was an $8 profit, which doesn't count. But I'm letting those 12,000 ride. So if I just got lucky, if this stock, which we see the growth on it, and by the way, notice that this went up on tremendous volume. The average is 170 million shares a day, but today it traded almost 6 times or so the average daily volume. If you want to throw a couple of bucks in there, you can. I'm not necessarily telling you to do that. That's, you know, maybe it's worth the risk for a couple bucks that you can afford to put in there. The other stock that I talked about recently, I brought up that we have the oil companies going up, and I guess it's this side here, pumping profits, oil and gas ETFs. And there's two, you can look at that video if you didn't take a look at, there's two there. The stock symbols are GUSH, GUSH, and DIG. Now, I've happened to follow DIG, and I own DIG. I also own INMD, I own FORW, and I own TSNP, of course, I've talked about many times. But when we talked about the oil and gas ETFs the other day, I was saying that as the world economy reopens, we're going to have, I think, those go up. And that happened again today. We have DIG today was up 8.2%. But when I spoke about it, I believe it was at about $82. So you see it's up $17 or so since then. And I was predicting that this would go by the end of the year to about 120. I originally bought in around $60, so I'm up over 50%. I think I'll get a double out of that. Some other friends who I recommended DIG to bought into it at about $63. If you're looking for penny stocks, this isn't your deal. But if you're looking for a rationale why we could make money, and again, because that's an ETF, you're diversified some. It's not just one company. That's another way to go. So we're going to keep our eye on all of these. We're going to, here and there, add to our list of stocks to be watching. We're not going to be talking just about forwardly and just about TSNP. Obviously, on those stocks, they've been doing tremendously for us. I hope you're all happy with the money, the gains you have. And I appreciate, again, you watching. I'm not going to make this any longer. I'll wrap it up here. We're already almost 12 minutes long, and I meant to keep it at 8. So I got to work on being a little less verbose. But anyway, folks, it's cold outside, but we have one heck of a hot stock market. And the thing I would say is just keep your eye on where you're going. We're going to get a sell-off one of these days, and it'll make you feel like someone kicked you in the stomach. But if you believe in the story, if you believe that when we talk about HUMBL, we're going to have the symbol changing, we got the execution to look at, and then we'll just see what they're doing. If they're continuing to execute on their plan, then we'll hold on to the stock. If you need to sell, take your profits, take some of the profits, but my hope is that you're going to continue to make some money throughout the year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it, and until we see you again, and I'll probably do something on Tuesday, good investing.